And I bought it for like 2,000 euros. And that was so much money for me being that young. Like I worked my ass off. As soon as I could afford the bike, I quit the job. I was like, I'm out. I didn't even think about needing to buy a helmet, nothing. I was just so happy to have a bike.
I met a gypsy.
Later in life, you're a fucking badass chick that is sponsored by Monster, traveling around the world as a female stunt rider. Like it's very rare to be like, there's not many of you, you know, so it's like, I think it's worth you digging into the background of it, because that would be
it goes
all
back
of
to culture. I think my mom is like the biggest, I don't know if I should say inspiration problem, like I don't even know, because it's been like a battle back and forth, but I think that she's been driving me towards this, not in the way that she would have hoped, but it led me here still.
yeah. So how was that then?
Well, basically with our culture still, they have so high demands on us with school. Like you have to have perfect grades. There's not like having a, I don't know what's grades kind of scale you go after, but we had like A to F.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So if you had a C, that was like, are you slow?
Yeah, you're fucked.
Like
yeah.
that's not okay. But I didn't even have that. I had A on most and then a couple of B's. But since my older sister was like, there was not even one miss. I look dumb, like compared. That, at least that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the same interest. Like my older sister loved to study. Like I would go take the tests and I would do good without studying, but I couldn't sit there, like no concentration at all. I couldn't sit there and even try to do my homework. I would do it last minute with like anxiety, like 20 minutes before bed or something.
Yeah.
But I was doing all right and I got good grades. And with those grades, you could choose your high school with like a point system to get into like certain like directions. And I chose to go like a civil engineer.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, all right, I had good scores and all that, like not bad. And then I went like the first 6 months because like my sister went like
architecture.
Yeah. So I was like, let me do something good as well.
Yeah.
And I went and it was okay. Like I was keeping up. I realized I thought that was so boring. I was not interested at all. I just did it to get it done because that's what I've been like fed
Program.
to believe.
Yeah,
exactly. So I was like, I realized after a while, I was like, let me not do this. And at that time, I got like a little 50cc moped. And I had to beg my parents. So they kind of helped me in this way because my mom said absolutely not. Because everyone at 15 in Sweden is allowed to, or can get a moped. Like a 50cc scooter or like a supermoto kind of version with gears, but still 50cc. And they're allowed to go like 45 kilometers an hour. So I wanted that. I was crying because I was always like a bit more like a boy girl. I loved like, I didn't have any interest for bikes. Like me, I didn't watch no motocross, no MotoGP. Like I didn't even know that existed in my brain. Like I've seen bikes on the street, but I haven't registered what like the whole thing actually is.
That there's like a whole culture, an
no
industry,
clue. I was
everything.
clueless for so long. So I just wanted something that was like a bit cool and you could get around on. So I didn't want the scooter one because I thought that they looked a bit lame. And I wanted like the one with gears. And my dad was like trying to not like keep this from my mom because she wasn't having it at all, not even the scooter. I was like, I need the other one, like please because all my friends got one. And then I like helped out with getting one and he finally agreed to the other one. And my mom got like rages. She got so angry, said that they had to return it and stuff. So I didn't get to keep that for long.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So then after that, I was like, this is fun, but I didn't ride that much. It was just, I basically learned. I was on YouTube there. I was like, what is a clutch? How do you even like, where's first gear? Like, what is, like, I didn't even know how to drive a car at this point. So I had no clue. I Googled every single little thing on YouTube. And I remember forcing my little sister on the backyard, like, I think she was filming me maybe, like, and I was tipping over in the grass, trying to figure it out. It was so bad. I couldn't even start the little moped myself. But then after that, I was like, this is fun. Let me quit school, get 2 jobs, work my ass off for like 1-2 months. And then I found like a bike I wanted to buy on like a marketplace thing. And I went and bought it. I had no plan. I had no bike license. I was 16 by this time. I went and got it. In my head, I thought I could bring it back home to the garage and hide it, and my parents wouldn't see it because they never go in there. Like, my dad goes in there maybe once a week. So I thought, let's have a week to figure it out. But yeah, the next day there was chain locks on it. And my mom, like I had people sending me, like friends sending me like photos of an ad at Marketplace where it said like dirt bike for sale, 5,000 Swedish crowns, like roughly 500 euros. And I bought it for like 2,000 euros. And that was so much money for me being that young. Like I worked my ass off. As soon as I could afford the bike, I quit the job. I was like, I'm out. I didn't even think about needing to buy a helmet, nothing. I was just so happy to have a bike. But yeah, I was hand filing up that lock and I was out riding. And my mom used to chase me down the streets and like try to stop me. She used to try to call the police on me. It was just a long, like I didn't know how to do this in a good like legal way because I didn't have no friends. I didn't understand that there was like somewhere I could go and do this. I didn't like, it was just long. I was young. I was just, all I wanted was to ride. That's all I knew. And learn to ride. And then shortly after, I was like, that was a 125, by the way. A KTM 125 was my first actual bike. And then I was like...
What year was it?
2005. But it had supermoto wheels on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
I started like full supermoto. I just still don't know much about dirt bikes, like completely clueless.
So that would have won the world championship that year. 05, CR, 05 KTM 125. Langston probably.
Langston was 03, I think.
Yeah, so it's like in complete parallel. There's like a world where that bike is like the world champion MXGP.
But it was obviously like it was in 2005 when I bought it.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford a brand new bike. It was old. It was 2014 maybe. I got it.
Really?
Yeah. That's when I started riding. So yeah.
And so your mum would literally chain the bike and you filed down the chain just so that you could
and
ride.
with a hand file. I remember it took me probably like 3 hours because I had no tools in my garage. It's not even meant to be able. I filed it in like a triangle angle to make it like weak to be able to like break it apart. I still have that lock at home.
Really? Dude, that's so sick. So why did you get this little 50cc and then you're obsessed? Like, what was it?
I don't know. I think it made me feel like I could do whatever I wanted. Like, in a way, being young, that was like you had your own free will now to go places and explore places and do whatever you wanted. Like, before you were restricted, you had to like either walk somewhere or have your parents drive you somewhere. And just being on a bike and not inside a car, it's a different feeling. You have the wind blowing in your face. It's summer nights. You're young. Like, it's just experience.
Yeah. I always think about, because I think, and a lot of people that are listening to this podcast, we're all kind of obsessed with the same thing, right? Mm. And it's like, I remember one of my first memories as a kid is getting on a PW50. It was my friend, Daniel Hayes. He's still my friend to this day. And he had this little yellow PW50, number 5 on it. And I had no fucking idea. And he was riding it around, and then it was my turn. The throttle wasn't screwed off on at all. It was like a full throttle. And I just grabbed a fucking handful of this throttle and just went straight and hit this fence.
After that, you were like, let me keep doing this. This is fun.
And it was just, that was such a mind-blowing thing. And I've thought about it over so many years. And it's like, when you're a kid, you have no autonomy. You're in charge of nothing. You don't pick your own meals. You don't pick your school.
This is something that you control.
Yeah, you barely get to choose the clothes that you wear. Then you get told what school you have to go to and what time you have to go there. Like, as a child, you really have zero autonomy. And then someone hands you a fucking motorcycle that is, and the way I always describe it is like, it's just this controlled explosion that you sit on, and then it's all on you.
It's all on you, yeah.
Whether you crash it into a fence or you make it actually work well.
I've heard that a lot of people get getting into bikes, they scare the shit out of themselves, and then after that they get hooked.
Yeah. And I think that it's just, what you're saying is right. You just have zero freedom. as a kid, and then this thing gives you so much freedom, and there's so much power that comes along with it. Because like I rode bicycles everywhere. That was my whole childhood. Was we rode bikes to school, and as soon as school was finished, we rode bikes until it was dark, and then we rode our bikes home. So we had freedom in that sense.
Yeah.
But this is just something
It's
different.
You're still limited, like on a bicycle, like compared to like a bike as well, like where you can go and like how quick it goes, and it's just like you can do shit. I would say that what's cool about bikes and what actually made me not wanna like, because I feel like I got stuck when I started with bikes, and everything else I would get bored of. But like with this, there's so much room to not make it like a straight line of progress, because you could choose to do motos, you could choose to do like freestyle, you could choose to learn new tricks. You can have your own style of riding as well. You can be so creative with it. You could do stylish things. You could, it's mad. It never ends. And that's the only like reason why I still like, there's still so much more to do and I'm not done. You can reach so many new corners, things that people don't even think is possible to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's wonderful.
You're so right. And, you know, it's competitive, and you can be competitive with yourself and only yourself. Or if you want to race or enter competitions, you can be super competitive with other people.
Yeah.
So you are
It's
right.
wide.
There's such a broad spectrum of boxes that you can tick, and everyone has their own personality, and everyone has their own thing that they get out of it, right? Like Anton, that is like the CEO of Stunt, great friend of mine, loves hard enduro, fucking couldn't think of anything worse. But I will go and ride 100 laps around the exact same track because I just want to get every single thing right. You know, it's not about doing something new once. Like, I love that repetitive grind of just trying to draw a perfect circle. It's just not, it's not possible, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you're never going to get it 100% right. And then
but you're chasing that 100%, and that's what keeps you going.
Yeah. And then you get some people where it's like, they want to be the best. They want to be super competitive. They love the feeling of racing and battling. So yeah, you are right. Like, it is such a broad spectrum. And I think another thing that's awesome as well is that bikes kind of evolve with you. Right. So like, I had the exact opposite experience. I can't remember a day of my life where there wasn't a motorcycle in the shed. Like
I can't even imagine how that would be. Like, I can't even imagine how I would be if I grew up with bikes.
Yeah. Like I have like one of my, again, earliest memories, and all the photos of me as a kid is just around bikes, you know, bikes or fishing. And I remember watching my dad do a stand-up wheelie with one knee on the seat,
fucking badass,
on a sand beach, just him and his mate, exactly the same, just bop, 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 bop. And I would have been 4 or 5 years old. I was like, that's the fucking coolest.
He knew what he was doing.
That's the man right there. But it's like, and so my dad raced motocross. And, you know, same deal. No one in his family did it. He saved up. He built his own bike. It came in a box. Cool. He built it. He raced supercross. He raced motocross. Did enduros. Then when he stopped racing, he did a lot of trail riding and these big, long adventures. And then now he rides big adventure bikes, and he'll do like 700 kilometers
That's what I'm saying.
in a day.
And it never
you know?
ends. It's just a different type of riding.
Yeah. And as you age and as you change and as things in your life change, the bike can still be there. Like, my dad will ride until he dies, you know, like, and it's very rare to find something in your life that you can do forever, like with so much passion, you know.
Yeah. Definitely.
That shit's sick, dude.
It is.
So you get this bike, you fucking file this lock off, and then you start learning how to ride. So
but I'm still shit. Like, for so long, I'm still shit. I had no control. When I had that 125, I shouldn't be out on the streets. I remember there's like a corner, and there's me coming. I can't barely take the corner. I'm just like fixating my lock straight, and I'm going straight. So for me to even still keep going after being like, I didn't have no one to guide me, like no friends to ride with and like ask for tips. I was just figuring like out by feeling, okay, this does that. Like trying to be logical and it's so hard if you don't actually, like now it makes sense. I have a bit of experience. I know why a bike acts in a certain way, but if I don't know that, it's so hard to make any sense of what you're trying to learn. So it took me a lot longer than it should have, probably. But it was cool. I learned to appreciate everything, and like a trick that I achieved was like a wow feeling then. But yeah, then I sold the 125 after 2 months, thinking it was way cooler to have a 450. Yeah, still no bike control. But here it actually like locked in for me, because now I started to understand bikes and I started to ride with a few people and doing a bit of wheelies. Finally, because I saw other people doing wheelies, so I was like, let me try that. That looks fun. And I did, and I was doing it wrong, completely wrong. I was just trying to power wheelie, trying to chase it, no back brake. I was looping the bike, crashing. It started getting expensive because stuff broke. And it felt long, but then I started posting this on my social media as well, just for fun. Like it was always like, I got a GoPro. I was just out riding on my own and I posted this. And out of nowhere, like one of these videos blew up.
Really?
Massive on YouTube. I think it had like 7 million, and this was like 2015 maybe.
No way. So this is like a year into riding.
Yeah, but like I already posted a lot of like bike stuff, but it was just for like friends and family, not family so much, my friends.
Yeah.
And then obviously it was public, and I didn't know that Instagram could even be a thing where you could have a lot of followers, because it was new back then. I got it when it came out, and it was my account that I have now. It's the one I had since I was a kid. And I don't even want to say this, but I think all my old photos are still on there from 2015. And I have a little bit of work to do to archive. Anyways, I started riding the 450, and I got a lot of hate comments from men saying that I suck, that a girl shouldn't be doing this. And there wasn't, like, for me then, I was obviously on social media and I hadn't seen like no other girls like riding a supermoto, and supermotos were growing like this around those years. It became like a massive thing in Europe. But I haven't seen anyone, so I got a lot of attention for being the only one doing it, but it wasn't good attention. It was like hate that I wasn't good enough, but I got attention. So they were like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like you basically like this little good-looking chick that is trying to do wheelies on a supermoto 450 and blowing up and getting all of these views, and then there's guys like, why the fuck is this chick getting any of this? She sucks. Follow me because I'm unreal. And so that was
exactly how it went.
Yeah. I can see exactly what's going on there.
But that hit that I got, like, I was like, I know it's like I'm not the best, but I wanted to like prove people wrong. It made me so fucking mad at that point. I was like, you know, who are you to even judge on what I can do? And I didn't say much. I just kept doing my stuff, practicing riding, and I got good. I got pretty good.
You just finished watching a clip from the full 3-hour podcast. You're on our Clips channel. The full podcast live on the Gypsy Tales podcast channel. It's linked right here. Go over to that channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and make sure you never miss a full episode of the Gypsy Tales podcast. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you want to watch it on the go, you can also head to our iTunes or Spotify to get the full 3-hour podcast in audio format.
I met a gypsy.